Welcome to episode 18 of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. My name is Ken Van Camp. I'm the narrator and flunky of this podcast, working under the whip of the author and ruler of this project, Keke. In each episode, Keke presents a dog's perspective on life and growing up in the human world. In this episode, we'll hear Keke's view on dieting and learn about some animals that might make a good role model for eating. And we'll hear about human eating habits and what's in their stomachs, as if you really wanted to know. And now we present lessons 50 and 51 from Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. I hope you enjoy it as we start with Lesson 50, Dieting. The Good, the Bad, and the Worse. A Dog's Guide to Surviving the Post-Thanksgiving Purge. Thanksgiving is over, and for many dogs, it was a day to be thankful. In the U.S., it's a holiday focused on eating, something we dogs are experts at. The trouble is, when humans wake up the next day with that overindulgence hangover, their thoughts drift to unhappy places. Yes, folks, I'm talking about the dreaded D word, dieting. Recognizing impending disaster. Nowadays, there are more diets than Kylie Jenner Instagram videos, so it behooves you to recognize the telltale signs of a forthcoming diet in the house. Here are a few early warning signs to watch for in your human. Number 1. They pull the box labeled skinny clothes down from the top shelf of the closet. Number 2. They pull the box labeled fat clothes from the bottom shelf of the closet. Number 3. They stand sideways in front of a mirror with stomachs sucked in, uttering growls of discontent. Number 4. They try on bathing suits. Number 5. They start paying keen attention to ads offering liposuction and plastic surgery. These are often immediately followed by trips to big and tall clothing stores or ones with a maternity section, or excursions to wholesome food stores. Whether they buy anything or walk out in disgust, prepare for changes in the dinner menu. Even if you luck out and the menu remains unchanged, they may start portion control. This can be a good thing as they may eat less, leaving more for leftovers for you. But be prepared, it's only a temporary change, so you need to read on. In the best scenario, things may return to normal the next day as the bloated feelings subside. Or perhaps they adjust their food portions but leave leftovers unchanged. This is rare, however. More commonly, things take a turn for the worse in the following days. For instance, reduced human portions can lead to the elimination of leftovers because they are starving and adopt a nothing dined left behind rule. Or worse, they may shortly start on a formal diet. This can easily suck you into the blast radius and make you the innocent victim of a change in menu. Types of diets. Understanding the types of diets can help you cope with them. Following are a few of the more common approaches and my suggestions for coping. Weight Watchers. This consists of eating prepared foods that lack taste, smell, or interesting texture. Prepare for a life of boredom. Vegan. Prepare for a life of slow starvation. Eating smaller portions more often. In this case, you can hope the dieter snacks throughout the day and shares it with you. Unfortunately, that's rare. And even if they do offer to share, it might be the dreaded healthy food, like carrot sticks, fruit slices, and rice cakes. This one rarely lasts long, just wait it out. Keto. Now, this is where things get more interesting. A high-fat, low-carb diet means more meat and less filler. Consider yourself lucky. Carnivore. If your human takes up this diet, forget Willy Wonka, this is the real golden ticket, like a meat lover's pizza without the crust. These are just a few examples, good and bad. Trust me, it can get worse, much worse. If all else fails, do what humans do. Cheat. The most gluttonous animals. Let's look at some extreme cases of animal eating behavior in hopes of gaining inspiration from them. The blue whale. This mammoth of the ocean consumes up to 4 tons of krill a day. I might find this interesting, except krill sounds like a hideous alien from the Orville. The African elephant. This largest of land mammals eats about 1% of its body weight daily, up to 500 pounds. The trouble is, they're vegetarians and they don't sleep much because they're always hunting for their next meal. No positive lessons here. The pygmy shrew. This tiny mammal's heart races at more than 1,000 beats per minute, and to maintain that metabolism, it consumes more than its body weight every day. They're hungry every 15 minutes, which I can identify with. But if they go an hour without food, they die. That means never sleeping. Count me out. The hummingbird. This is another high-energy animal that can eat up to twice its weight in nectar daily. Unlike the shrew, however, it doesn't need to be constant and they get to sleep. It has potential, but menu's too limited. The star-nosed mole. This underground mammal eats a varied diet of earthworms, snails, crayfish, small amphibians, and fish. And they eat faster than any other mammal, finding and swallowing food in under 1/4 of a second. Now, that's what I call an inspiring role model. So, how does this translate into a diet plan? Eat a carnivore diet in the style of a star-nosed mole. Sometimes, staying out of the line of fire means being happy with dog food for a while. More on that in the next lesson. Lesson 51. What's in your stomach? A dog's view on human eating. Humans worry a lot about what they eat and drink. They fuss over saturated fats, trans fats, sodium, and cholesterol. They fret if they're eating too much sugar and worry if they're drinking artificial sweeteners. Don't eat red meats and avoid chicken because it's filled with hormones and antibiotics. Stay away from farm-raised fish, but eat the wild-caught ones and you'll die from mercury poisoning. And whatever you do, don't get a conscience, or you'll never eat anything that ever moved under its own power because their living conditions are deplorable. And for God's sake, stay away from carbs or dessert. You've got to look like a supermodel in those form-fitting clothes, or people will think you're not taking care of yourself, which in fact you're not, as you'll see if you read on. Historically, humans have turned to diets to save themselves from this pressure. First, a brief history of dieting. Unlike dogs, humans have practiced the art of dieting since ancient Greek times. Hippocrates recommended fat people follow a strict daily menu, increase their exercise, and vomit. But there was no need for him to follow his own advice since he was the founder of the ancient Greek political party, the Hippocrats. The first liquid diet dates to the 11th century when William the Conqueror grew so fat that he couldn't mount his horse. Giving up food, he consumed only alcohol, a real man's liquid diet. When he finally got on his horse again, the saddle horn caught in his gut and he died of an infection. Alas, he was still so big that he couldn't fit in his coffin. The first diet book came out in 1558 by Italian Luigi Cornaro, who advised readers to limit their daily intake to 12 ounces of food and 14 ounces of wine. Like William, he thought you wouldn't notice you were starving if you drank enough alcohol. In the 19th century, Lord Byron emerged as the first diet influencer, a social media star ahead of his time owing to his tales of binging and starving and his trendy vinegar diet. It was so popular that some women in the 1800s died from drinking pints of vinegar. Fortunately, no one had invented bleach at that time. For a related story about human diets, refer to the previous lesson. As you can see, diets have never worked out well for either humans or pets. What to do? How can you save your humans from themselves? Humans literally worry themselves to death over this stuff. Look at the facts. Chronic stress causes cancer, and cancer is the second most common cause of death in the United States. Look, I'm no doctor. I'm not even a veterinarian. But speaking from a dog's perspective, let me give you humans some advice. Eat like a dog. If it tastes good, devour it. Don't wait to read the labels, just peel them off. Or don't peel them off. You might find you like them too. It gives your meal an extra crunch, like chewing through a pile of wrapping paper. For more on this topic, see my earlier lesson, The Joys of Unwrapping Gifts. You'll lead happier, stress-free, longer lives. My recommendation? Check out Caesar Filet Mignon flavor, or for the heartier appetite, Alpo Prime Cuts. You might find you like them. From what I've seen, eating a diet of kale, tofu, and quinoa can lead you to an obsessive-compulsive disorder that can increase worry and decrease friendships. Buying watches that count calories and steps, fanatical dieting, and an impulse to tell everyone around you how they're doing everything wrong. And telling your kids no dessert until you finish all your vegetables will never win you Mom of the Year glories. If you choose to eat that hot fudge brownie sundae with whipped cream and a cherry on top, just shut up about it and work it off by playing with a cute puppy or take her for a long walk. Because human eating habits are self-mutilation, a form of self-imposed capital punishment called cancer. And since cancer is the number 2 killer, I call it Capital 2. And Capital 2 wants to know, what's in your stomach? Thank you for listening to this episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. I'm Ken Van Camp, and I hope you've enjoyed this performance. If so, please rate it and leave feedback. You can post feedback on our Facebook page or email. The addresses are in the episode description. We are dropping a new episode of Keke's podcast every weekend on all major podcast apps. Make sure you follow Keke's Guide so you'll be notified as each episode becomes available. So, what will happen next? Will Keke be able to teach her humans some new eating habits and introduce them to a new menu? Be sure to join us for the next episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human and find out. Because dogs are people too, you know?